This is a parking area in the middle of Wyoming. There is not much in Wyoming. What do you think of Wyoming?
There's grass, and more grass all through Wyoming. You'll see these signs that say no more services for 40 miles or 50 miles or 60 miles. What that means is you're not going to see a gas station or a coffee shop for a long way.
'Cause these are the best days. These are the best days. These are the best days. These are the best days of our lives. Of our lives. Yeah.
I'm standing on the beautiful sandy beach of Glindo State Park. It's a little after 6 a.m. You can hear the waves in the background. There's a bite in the air. It's pretty chilly. The sun is starting to peek up over the horizon behind the camera there. And I am really happy to be here, especially considering what we went through yesterday. Yesterday, we came out of Colorado and we drove through a large chunk of Wyoming. I don't know if you've ever gone through Wyoming, but it can be a little monotonous. So we drove and we drove and we drove, and it was tiresome. So tiresome, in fact, that it's easy to begin to nod off, to get drowsy, to fall asleep at the wheel. You have to stay alert somehow. And you know, I was thinking as we were driving that there's a lot of believers, even some that I know, that live their life like it's a monotonous bore. Christ has given us a certain amount of time, a certain amount of talent, and a certain amount of connection and influence with other people. And we can either use that or we can live like we're bored. And I think a lot of people are experiencing that. You know, as we drove, I think the lesson for me was that the thing that kept us going is knowing that this place was here. Knowing that at some point, the road was going to change, turn, and come into this location where there's a lake and there's this beautiful scenery. We knew we had an appointment here. We had a reservation and we needed to get here by a certain time. And that kept our pedal down. It kept me awake and alert. You know, there is an appointment coming for you if you're a believer. There's an appointment coming where you will stand before Jesus. In the book, we talk about this concept in 2 different chapters. The first chapter is called Judgment Avoided. And in that chapter, we look at John 5:24, where Jesus makes this promise that believers will not have to stand before him and hear that they're going into hell. If you've believed in Jesus so that you can have everlasting life, then you have everlasting life. You're never going to have to come into a judgment where you'll be condemned to hell forever. Find out more about that in the chapter. But in the next chapter after that, it's called Life Appraisal. And in Life Appraisal, we talk about the judgment seat of Christ, which all Christians, all believers who have everlasting life have an appointment with Jesus where they're going to give a life appraisal, a performance report, so to speak. I don't know if you're like me, but giving a performance report keeps me honest. If I know that I'm going to have to report on what I've been doing, I'm more likely to stay faithful and obedient. And I think that's exactly what's in view when Paul and others in the New Testament talk about the judgment seat of Christ. There's a day coming when your mortal life is going to be over, where you're going to have to stand before Jesus and tell him how you spent your life. And based on his appraisal of your life, he's going to either reward you or deny you rewards. There's something coming at the end of your monotonous drive. There's some day in the near future, possibly for some of us, where we're going to have to tell Jesus how we spent our life, and our eternal reward, our everlasting reward, is going to be based on the appraisal that we receive at that event.